Hi, this is Aaron, and today we're going to take a look at the differences between the iPhone 4 and the Samsung Fascinate or the Galaxy S. There's multiple versions of the Galaxy S, so this probably will apply across carriers even though they're not all identical to the Verizon version that we'll be looking at right now. So what we'll start with is aesthetics or design and quality of feel. So first of all, the iPhone 4 we all know is made out of a patented steel with a glass back, glass front. This happens to have a zag covering on it, but that's pretty much the same. We do have our camera back here, volume rockers, vibrate earpiece, front-facing camera, and your home button, speakers, dock connector. On the Fascinate, you have your sleep-wake button here as opposed to up here on the iPhone. You also have your 3.5mm headphone jacks on top. This is your microphone for the mic reduction for secondary sounds, that sort of thing, background noise to kind of eliminate that. Here we have your USB port, micro USB with a little slide cover. Not sure I'm crazy about that or not, but that may be great for some of you, that maybe not for some others. On the side we have volume rockers for both. On the bottom we have our microphones, and here you can pop the back off, and you've got your speaker here. On the iPhone you've got it down here. Here's your flash with your camera, and again here's the other side, SIM card on this phone. So that's the aesthetics. Build quality or feel, the iPhone 4 definitely feels heavier. I would say almost double the weight of the Fascinate. Maybe not, it's hard to say, but I'd have to look up the actual specs to tell you for sure. Not a huge deal. And I'm not going to give you the exact specs here. If you want that, you can see the reviews. Excuse me. But I'm going to give you real world, what it looks like, what it feels like, that sort of thing. These both have proximity sensors on the front. This has a front-facing camera, as I said before. So these are all touch buttons across the bottom. This is your menu, this is your home, this is your back, this is your search. You don't have any of that on the iPhone. So let's go ahead and turn it on. This is a Super AMOLED screen, very vibrant, rich colors. This is a Retina display, very, very close pixels. First, let me go ahead and show you the unlock screen on the Fascinate. We all know that on the iPhone, or most of you do, you slide to unlock. On the Fascinate, you fit a puzzle piece. And there we have it. They're both capacitive touch screens. We're both on Wi-Fi here. You can see the signals. Signal is about 2 bars. 1 bar on the Fascinate, but I don't think it makes too much of a big deal on this for this particular demonstration. We swipe, we have multiple home screens that you can customize on the Samsung, so that's definitely a win for the Samsung, where you can't really customize on the iPhone. You can organize things into folders, and you can change the picture on the background. As you can see, this is a picture I took with the 3GS actually, of the Washington Monument in the background. You can't really change that on the iPhone. On here we can have moving backgrounds with whatever widget we want. See, right here we have 5 pages, and that's a new email, and that's probably a good time to go into email. You kind of get the widgets, I think, if you're familiar with Android. So here I just got an email. It popped in here, gave me a 1. On the Android phone, no matter what screen I'm in, it pops up the little drop down, and we can see someone subscribed on YouTube. So that's pretty cool. So it handles multiple mailboxes, but this has push Gmail on the Fascinate, and it pops into the notifier. Personally, I think that's a big win for me over the iPhone. This is my own personal iPhone. This is a review unit, and I prefer the iPhone for different reasons because I'm big into music and things. But as far as email goes, definitely better. Definitely better on the Android side, I think, for notifications and how they come in. So that's email. You can have multiple email boxes. I don't really have it set up other than Gmail on the Fascinate. But let's go into email. You can see how fast it is. Someone subscribed. We can go back, see other emails, scrolls really quickly, and you can have multiple email inboxes. So that's pretty cool. You can see how quick that is. Go into the same email, comes up slowly, someone subscribed, we can go back, lots of email boxes, and go back. They're both pretty quick. And before we go any further, just for those that might wonder, there is nothing running here other than email for multitasking. On the Samsung, we hold the home button, and these were things that were running. You can see Barbie puzzle. My daughter was playing around with it. This is what's running right now. It tells us our RAM for Gmail, mail, the packages running, the summary, the help. Big win for Android if you like that sort of thing. Let's end all of that. Let's end those on the iPhone. Multitasking is really more true multitasking on the Fascinate than it is on the iPhone, so that's a big win there. So let's go ahead and show you browser speed. Now, one thing the iPhone does not have is Swipe. Swipe lets you type really quickly, and I showed that on my day one follow-up, so check that out if you haven't already. That's pretty cool if you prefer that. Let's go to my site, Zollotech.com. And we have them here, and we can hit them both at the same time, and we'll see how quickly they load. Not a huge Wi-Fi signal here, but you can see Fascinate's done already. The iPhone's still loading, and the iPhone has a stronger Wi-Fi signal. So that's pretty impressive, I think. Here's the scrolling on the Fascinate. Here's the scrolling on the iPhone. A little bit different feel, but very smooth. You can see here, let's try and show you at the same time. A little bit different feel just because they're different phones. I don't know why the Fascinate's doing that. That's kind of weird. Oh, close that. Let's go right back in. So really fast. I mean, they're equal. They both have pinch to zoom. They feel great. And I've said this many times before that I could use the Fascinate as my own phone now that I've used enough Android phones. It's equally as good as the iPhone, in my opinion, for different reasons. So that's web browsing. Now we have one of my videos, YouTube, from YouTube. Let's go back once. I went into one of the stories, apparently. You can see if I let go, it will just scroll. A little bit choppy at times, but not really. No more so than you see on any other phone. I think iPhone just smooths it out a little bit, but I don't think that's an issue whatsoever. So neither of this does not have Froyo or Flash on it, so when you do hit play, it opens in YouTube, so does the iPhone. Let's go back to home. Now, battery life, let's talk that for a moment. The iPhone is the longest battery iPhone I've had, the iPhone 4. The Fascinate, due to its AMOLED or Super AMOLED screen, it takes less power. They're equal in battery length, at least from what I can tell so far in the time that I've had the Fascinate. That's a huge step for me on Android. There's other phones, such as the Droid 2 or the Evo, that have reduced battery because they've got larger screens. You're not going to find that disadvantage on the Fascinate, from my experience. It just doesn't happen unless you've got a million things open in the background that are pulling data and you've got GPS open. You're not going to see that at all. Now, they both have visual voicemail, they both have apps, and you've got apps on here. These are all pre-installed for the most part, but you can customize the Fascinate much more. Now, I'm not going to say this phone is better than this phone or this phone's better than that phone. I want you to make that determination because they're different. The iPhone is Apple's version of what they think is a good phone. The Fascinate is what Google thinks is a good phone, with some stuff that Samsung's added on the side. You have to decide for yourself what you like. The app stores on both of them are getting quite vast. There are more on the iPhone still, but the Android marketplace is way over 100,000 at this point. So there's 250,000 on the iPhone, 100,000 on the Android. What you're looking for is going to be there on both for the most part. You may be off a little bit for something you like on one, but not on the other. It's hard to say. If you want Google Voice right now, you go with the Android platform. If you want a million different game apps and that sort of thing, you go with iPhone. There's different reasons to go to each one, different carriers. If you like to customize, you're going to want to go with Android. If you like pretty and refined and well well-rounded and kind of matured at this point, you go with iPhone. Android's just about there. It's almost at that point. So it's hard to say. I don't want to suggest either or, but there are so many reasons to go to Android, and there are so many reasons to go to iPhone. So it's really what you want to, what you like. Now let me show you one thing. Someone's asked me to do a screen comparison before. Let's go to the same web page so we have the exact same thing on both screens. And I'm going to bring this in really close so you can see. Same thing. Let's hold them side by side, even. You can see there's a little tint to the AMOLED screen, Super AMOLED. Let it refocus. There we go. You can see the pixels a little bit on the Super AMOLED. You can't as much on the iPhone. I don't know if you can see that or how well you can. And that's really mainly due to the incredible pixel density that the iPhone has. Now, there are some other things we could compare, such as the camera. In the camera, I'm not going to do now because I'm going to compare that. I'm going to show you that in the full review, but I'm going to do a comparison of all the Droid phones and then of these two phones so that you can get a real-world comparison of what it looks like side by side. I've done that before for some of the Android phones, so I'm going to do that again to kind of do an update to that so you guys get a better idea. It's really hard to keep going. There's so many things I could go over. There's so much customization you can do on Android, and there's so many different things I like about the iPhone. It's really hard to say, buy this phone, buy that phone. It's really up to you. And because of that, I think that's going to be the end of this quick comparison. Other than that, your music player, I think for me, is the big thing that's made me stay away from Android, and it's superb on this phone. I've showed you that. I'm not going to play the music due to copyright reasons, but let's see. There is, it's actually over here, the music app. Why I've lost it. Oh, before I go any further, let me stop right here. You have the option of a 3G mobile hotspot as opposed to the tethering option on iPhone. They both cost extra on these phones. I think it's $20 a month or so. It depends where you're at. But to tether with this phone, you can do it via Wi-Fi. But with the iPhone, you have to do it plugged in or via Bluetooth. So you're going to get a better speed out of this via Wi-Fi than you would with Bluetooth on the iPhone just because of transfer rates. But you could do it both tethering plugged in as well. But I think that's an advantage on the Verizon, the Fascinate. Let's see here. I wanted to show you the music thing. I've shown that in the overview, so if you've seen that, you can move on. But let me show you what it looks like just because, why am I having such a hard time finding it? My gosh. Okay, here's music. Let's go to albums. Here's Anberlin. I'm not going to play it, but you can see there's album art. It's scrolling the name of the album. Let's see what we have here. Anberlin. Same album. Similar views here. When this is playing on the Fascinate, it shows up here in this bar. When it's playing on the iPhone, it shows up down here. So different ways of doing things, equally as well. It's just whatever you want. But they're both good enough now that I would say, MP3-wise, pick whichever one you want to go with and go. Size-wise is the last thing we'll look at. You've got a larger screen on the on the Fascinate. And I think it's the sweet spot. It's 4 inches as opposed to, I think it's 3.5 on the iPhone. This feels good in the hand. This feels just right. And maybe that's because I have huge hands. I don't know. You hold it like this. I don't have any signal problems with my iPhone, so please don't ask. And so, I don't know. For me, it just feels a little bit nicer on the iPhone, or on the, I keep calling this an iPhone, I'm sorry, the Fascinate. I just think it's the sweet spot of phones. I've been asked about durability. I think it'll be fine. It feels sturdy. It doesn't feel like it's going to break, even though it's more plasticky and light. So if you have any questions before I do a review and you want to see some more, please feel free to ask. I know this has been a long video. I appreciate the subscribing. Please continue to do so and check back. We'll see you next time.